Hello, this is John Jimenez. I'm the Director of Catechetical Services for Catholic Brain. And in this short video, I just want to give you a quick overview of our junior high curriculum. That's our 6th, 7th, and 8th grade religion curriculum. If you've been using our elementary curriculum, you're going to see some things that are very similar, but also some things that are unique in this junior high curriculum. I'm going to go through this very quickly. Because what I really am hoping to do is to encourage you to get a 30-day free trial to look at the curriculum online, all the other resources that we have, and do your own curriculum review. So I'm going to go through this quickly. I'm going to start by answering the question that, of course, we want to know before we get into a curriculum review. Is this on the USCCB-approved curriculum list? The answer is yes, it is. It has gone through the bishop's review process, and it is on their list of approved curriculum. So no worries about that. All right, I'm going to give you a quick overview of each of the texts. They do, of course, follow the bishop's guidelines. They include all the things that the bishops have in their frameworks, but they are also unique. And so I think you'll find them interesting. I hope so. I'm going to start with our 6th grade textbook. Now, I'm going to leave on this table of contents page for a moment and the next one because so you can pause the video and take a look at this. Our 6th grade text is a walk through salvation history. So like our elementary texts, we have a lot of saints, a lot of Catholic vocabulary in these textbooks, and especially a lot of scripture. So our 6th grade text is really a walk through the Bible and through salvation history. You can see at the beginning it asks the question, what is a covenant? That's the underlying issue through all of our study of salvation history in this text. And you can see what we cover there. I'm going to go to the next page. And again, you can pause the video if you want to see exactly what's in there. And you can see it's going to follow all the way through to Pentecost. And then we focus on a few other things, the works of mercy, the Mass, the sacraments, and then prayer. This is what it looks like. So we're going to begin with a preview page. It's got some questions to think about. So we want the students to be thinking about these questions before they read the text. Now, at the beginning of the lesson, you're going to address some of these things, so they're not going to be coming into this blind. We do have some vocabulary for them there, and then we're going to get through the text. And chapter 1 is unique because it's giving the whole foundation of a covenant, but this is what the chapters are going to basically look like. And then at the end, we've got our main point there, our proclamation. God has made a covenant with us. And then you see a few bullet points underneath that are going to flesh out. Those are really the things we want to make sure we have really implanted in their minds through studying this chapter. We've got some vocabulary, comprehension check, some short answer questions, and then a reflection on a scripture passage. Every chapter is going to have that, a reflection on a scripture passage. Now, this end of the chapter activity, this is distinct from the chapter quizzes, which we do have online. I'll show you that in a minute as well. So that's our 6th grade text. Our 7th grade text is a little bit more traditional, I would say, in the sense that it looks more like a text rather than a walk through scripture. And it's actually kind of similar to our confirmation text. Again, I'm going to let you take a look at what the topics are here in the table of contents. It sort of follows more the structure of the catechism, I would say, rather than the Bible. That makes this text a little bit unique in our junior high curriculum. And we're going to continue through the study of catechesis, again, sort of following the outline of the catechism, but at a 7th grade level. Again, we have a chapter preview page. So we've got, now here we've got not some questions, we've got some bullet points. These are things we want the kids we're going to show them what we're going to teach them here. And then, of course, we're going to flesh it out through the chapter and then make sure they have really grasped these fundamental concepts from the chapter. We've got a vocabulary word, people to know. Again, we're always trying to look for Catholic heroes that we can include in our texts. And then a question to consider that they're going to approach at the beginning and the end of the chapter. All right, this is what this chapter is going to look like. It's chapter 1, Who is God? All right, through to the end of you see that we're giving them that question again. They've thought about it before they read the chapter, before you've taught it. Now they're going to approach that question again, hopefully with some deeper insights. And then again, we've got a proclamation Only God can fulfill our desire for happiness, fulfillment, and meaning. Some main points that explain that proclamation: a vocabulary word, comprehension check questions. We're going to expand on those. Some application questions, how we can really apply this to our experience. And then a challenge. So in this text, each chapter is going to have a challenge that you can make optional for your students. You can require it, however you want to handle it. Now, the 8th grade text is sort of a combination of the first two, in the sense that we're going through all of these ideas in the catechism, but we are taking a really, really deep dive into scripture here. So again, I'm going to show you the table of contents. You can pause and see what this is going to cover. Now, of course, on the website, you can look through the scope and sequence for all of these texts. We're going to go through, give each sacrament its own chapter, and we're going to have a scripture reference for each. So each chapter here now is going to start with a scripture preview. Every chapter of the 8th grade text starts with something from scripture. And then we're going to go ahead and really explain it. This is actually the longest scripture. We've gone through practically the entire first chapter of Genesis. Most of the scripture passages are not nearly this long. Chapter 1 is quite long. We've got, of course, some vocabulary words. And like I said, this is a real deep dive into scripture. So you can see we're outlining the days of creation for the kids. We are not dumbing it down. By the end of the 8th grade year, they should not only have a firm grasp of their Catholic faith, but a really firm understanding and a deep understanding of the Bible. That's really our goal with this text. Like I said, I'm very excited about this text quite a bit. We're going to end with our proclamation again and some points to expand on that. And this one, God is the eternal creator. Vocabulary, some review questions. Again, these are more comprehension. And then some application questions, how we're going to apply it to our experience, a reflection on a scripture passage, and then a project. This is something kids could do on their own. Maybe you choose to do it as a class. Maybe they do it with a family, but we've got all these different suggestions for projects and activities. All right, there's a very quick overview of the text themselves. Now, I want to show you just a little bit about what we have on the website. Now, I've made a separate video about our website. I'll link to that at the end. It's got all the other resources, the videos, and all the other kinds of things that you can find on the website. The only thing I want to show you in this video are the teacher's resources for these texts. So I'm going to start with here. You can see the scope and sequence here. Click on the scope and sequence. 6th grade, that says lesson plans, but it's really the scope and sequence. 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, you can see the scope and sequence there. We have assessments for each of those. So you can, of course, give grades in a grade book, assess the kid's understanding and knowledge. These are, traditional written assessments, but we've got comprehension check and expansion questions, reflection questions, and we've got lessons for each chapter of each text. And I've got one here open to just sort of show you what it looks like. So this is chapter 1 of 6th grade. What is a covenant? We've got it in a 5-day format. We actually do have a 1-day format of these lessons as well for religious education at a parish. This is more for a school. We've got it in a 5-day format. We've got a lot of Socratic discussion. We've got all sorts of different things, some activities, some prayer. We teach the kids Lectio Divina, all that kind of stuff. The other thing that we do is we have 6 projects throughout the year that students can do. And obviously this is at the discretion of the teacher, but there are 6 projects that the kids can work on in groups related to major topics in the text. Okay, that's particularly through the 8th grade text. We really encourage those projects. All right, that is it. That is a very, very brief overview of the textbooks. You've got a general idea, but you didn't get to go too deep on this video. I want to respect your time. What I really want to do is encourage you to go to catholicbrain.com. You can find all these texts on our website as an ebook format. We, of course, have hard copies of the book as well, but you can explore all of the textbooks, all of the teachers' resources, and all the other resources we have on the website with a 30-day free trial. You can get that at catholicbrain.com. If you have any trouble with that or you have any questions for me, you can email me at john@catholicbrain.com. I'd be glad to hear from you, answer any questions you have. So thank you for your time watching this video. I hope you will consider Catholic Brain's religion curriculum if you're doing a religion curriculum review. And I want to thank you for the work that you do. May God bless you, and may God bless all the work that you do.